Thank you, Barbara, for the opening. I'd like to welcome everyone to Unity of the Seacoast. Oh. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
That's right.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Unity of the Seacoast, where two or more are gathered, we always be a crowd. My name is Bonnie Slater, and I've been a member of Unity for 26 years. Came and goes at Unity on the River, and the other 18 in different Unity of the Seacoast. So, I'm so grateful, and I'd like to especially welcome those of you who are watching the live stream. And I think the first, I'm nervous. It's just like a danger anyway. Because about 6 years ago, just a little brief history. Our church, my own roots only, was fractured. And a few of us, had to step up to keep Unity of the Seacoast going. And by the grace of God, we are here today in a different era, in a different time, but in a brand new, beautiful place. And I'm so grateful for that. So, first thing I'll do is read the. Now I will read the daily words. June 26, 2022. Kindness. I'm love in action, sharing acts of kindness. It's my nature to be kind. Divine love is inherent within me, part of my spiritual identity. Opportunities abound to be kind, and I hold that intention today. Ideas will fill my mind, perhaps as a nudge to call a neighbor, send a note, extend a smile, or give a compliment. Practicing kindness includes sharing my gifts and talents in ways that allow me to express my individuality by giving of myself. Focusing on kindness, I am patient in all my dealings and resist easy judgment and prejudice. I am keenly aware that challenging situations can frustrate me, but I also welcome them as occasions to call upon my higher self as a loving and peaceful being. The more I practice kindness, the more easily it becomes a song of my heart and my way of life. And our Bible verse is render true judgments, show kindness and mercy to one another, and that's from Zechariah 7:9. Again, the affirmation for today's daily word is kindness. Now I'd like to welcome everyone to share our mission statement. If you have it in front of you, goes on the live stream. Our mission statement is we're a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. And also the mission statement is on the bottom of the screen for those of you who are watching live stream on YouTube. You may also check out our website. You can see the weekly announcements. All our talks are archived. There's something you want to look back on and reflect on. Also, if you feel called to donate, we have an app called Tidely. And also we have a new address now. Since we released our new space, the mailing address is now Unity of the Seacoast, McConnell Center, Suite 246, 61 Locust Street, and that's Dover, New Hampshire, 03822. 620. And also, Charlie Machard has a meditation the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. on live stream. So please join him in that. Also, we've been broadcasting live to you on YouTube. Our YouTube channel, just type in Unity, the Seacoast, in the YouTube search button. You will eventually have many of the past services archived there as well. And it doesn't come up right away, YouTube, so you kind of have to search for it. Maybe in the future that'll be fixed. And also, I just want to invite everyone for fellowship. It's so nice to be here now in person and share our food and our gifts after our service. And we also greet each other. This is so awesome. I was thinking about this. Wow, we can hug today. And we use the Sanskrit word namaste, which means the Christ in me sees and honors the Christ in you. So we will share our namaste now. And I think I forgot something. Namaste. Okay, now Barbara, we'll honor you with her song.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing faith today. I'm choosing faith today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing faith today. I'm choosing hope today. I'm choosing hope today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing hope today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today.
Okay.
What I wanted to do is introduce our speaker. I'm gonna share a bit of Tom's bio. This is like trying to pull nails out of him, but I think it's important. Tom was born in Nutley, New Jersey, but grew up in Cape Cod. In his late 20s, he moved to Florida, where he met Casey and Bo. As a family, they adopted July to complete their family. Following their wedding, they moved to Loudon, New Hampshire, so the kids would have a closer relationship with their grandparents. He joined Unity during a later time in Florida and soon found it to be his calling. The morning after he decided it was his path, his ministers called him to tell him he thought he had the calling. He has been on the ministerial path ever since. Tom and Casey live in Northwood now. His son Bo has spoken at our church several times, and his daughter, though you may not know her, did the opening and closing slide, as well as the photo that precedes this little light of mine photo. And just to add my own, I remember when Tom first came into our service, when we were on in the other unit, and I watched him and he was listening and we talked and he kept coming back. And then, as most of you know, he got very, very ill and he pulled through that and is still on the road, to recovery and using Myrtle Fillmore's mantra, all is well. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our Reverend Tom Scheinberg.
Here's another song. Can we do it now?
We can.
Awesome. I will do that.
We're flexible. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. Love, 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 joined together in love. Love, 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 joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. Joy, 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 joined together in joy. Joy, 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 joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together in peace.
Can everyone hear me? Awesome. I'm going to shut this mic down so we don't get confused. Perfect. So here we are. I seriously want to thank everyone for being here. I can't believe that this day has come. We've waited a couple of years for this. I've waited, and I know you guys have, to hear the choir. I didn't know what was happening today. I was a great surprise. I just sat back there melting because that's it. I mean, for me, that's the whole deal. Well, thank you, Pat.
Pleasure.
We come together today. We come together in love, and friendship, and fellowship. So as a group, I'd like you to focus on this place. Like in your mind, with your energy, to consecrate this space as a sacred spiritual place. because it came together in love and vision. And it's an outpouring of inspiration. Many people are for all. This is not my church. This is our church. It's a unified vision of what we can be and where we can go. We affirm that there is one power in the universe and in our lives. God, the good and great omnipresence. We affirm that the Christ within us is always within us. In this space, we recognize as a grounding point, which represents that connection that we have to something that is greater than us. This grounding does not come from any of the words that I say, but it comes from the quiet spaces in between the words. That space where we realize that God is within us all, and we are connected to that. This space is just a reflection of that connection for all, to God and to each other. So we look around this room, we see our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones. For those watching at home, you are as much a part of this service and our family as anybody. And proof of this is that our board president is our president by virtual. She watches this at home. And whether you know it or not, we are on the cusp, the leading edge of a hybrid service. We hopefully will be one of the leaders in that as we develop it each week. You know, we worked on this quite a bit during the pandemic. And now to bring it here and to synchronize a live service and the service that people can see at home is a big path. And we've spoken to Unity about this, and they incorporate and give us suggestions and vice versa. And even have grants so we can expand our technology. Right now, I think we're pretty good. I would like to get a camera that zooms in, but this is day one. You know, and I mentioned Unity because Unity is a connected church. We're not in this alone. We have the support of the national church, and they have ours. You know, one of the things we're working on is to be a stepping stone church for people in school becoming a minister, that they can join us live virtually to work on their 10-minute sermons for their classes in front of real people. And we are those real people. It's such a nice thing to be able to have a footprint across the nation. And at the same time, we have that footprint in our local community. Some people already are out there. Lynn, yesterday, volunteering. Charlie, you. This is part of the vision. You know, right now we're working on fundraisers for the Empower Fest because we would like to send Lynn and Barbara to that in September. Spoken to Sandra Campbell about that. My son is willing to do a show and invite as many people as he can to raise some of that. Tracy had a couple ideas, and together, hopefully we can do that, and we can be a presence in that. But as far as all that, what does this mean for you guys? You know, I hope that we can be a center for resources, for counseling, whether it's domestic abuse, emotional, mental illness, or anything, a list of resources, people to contact. I'm trained in many of these areas, but I am not a professional. But we'd like to be that place where people feel the need to come. We can help get them to the right place. You know, I hope this building for you becomes a place to exchange ideas, spiritual connection. A place where you say something and I absorb it and vice versa, and we expand each other's idea. I hope it becomes a common place. We can come sit and relax and enjoy the service. Hope it's a place that we plan events like cookouts like more walks. We managed to pull this together, with so many people. And I hope it becomes a place that everybody, including you out there in the virtual world, feel connected to. That you look through the lens and you see people who know you and who love you, no matter where you are. We love you. That's part of this deal. It begins with love. And we do this under, the principle, the guidance of the 5 principles. Because it's not my job to do the work. I'm a facilitator of what we do for ourselves. But I can only assist in others doing for themselves what they need to do. It's not enough to know we must do the work. But I like to be available for all that, for pastoral care. When I look around, I see Bonnie, I see everybody here. I think of Bonnie and Mangla and the people who came before, and Lynn, who built this. Bonnie mentions the fracture. I never think of that. I think of it as an evolution. Evolution is a process toward perfection. And we're the next step in that. But everything that happened before happened to get us to this point. It took a lot to get here. When the pandemic hit, a lot of churches, Unity churches and other churches, closed. They shut their doors. Some went bankrupt. Some lost members and board members and all that. And we somehow have managed to come through that. And not only managed, we're doing okay. Members have changed. We've took a lot of effort on a lot of people's part just to shut down the other building and let go, to decide what we were going to keep and what we were going to let go of. Spiritually, there's change. We had to learn to let go of that on both sides. Board members change and evolve. We've had to adjust to that. But all that came about through an effort of everybody. Charlie, Lynn, Rachel, Tracy, Bonnie, you guys. Everyone who came in to just close that building and get it into storage, that was a big task. And then to get it back here. But somehow we managed to maintain contact, to have holiday services. We managed to have fellowship. We managed the walks and the talks. And we got here. And although a lot of other churches had to close or alter, I smile for ourselves that we pulled through that. And this is the stepping stone. I don't know if you guys realize how big that is. And the people that I've spoken to are just amazed that we managed to do that. About 3 years ago, when Lynn and I took over as president and vice president, we were paying our rent months behind. Within a couple months, we were caught up and we were able to build the savings. And since that, we've grown a bit. We've been able to make sure Barbara gets quarterly bonuses. And whether you guys know it or not, the backbone of the service is Barbara. It's not my words, it's not been any else's words, it's been Barbara. Every week I say, I'm amazed at how she picks a song that matches what I'm doing, or several songs. Because I'd give a vague idea of what my thing is. I'm lazy when I write. I've been writing all day, so what's my topic? Oh, happy. But somehow she's on the same frequency. And she'll come up with a song, and I find those meanings in the talk. I'm just amazed at that.
I didn't know your topic today, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was just, I think I wrote high.
Tom didn't know his topic either.
Yeah. If you notice, I've looked away from the notes for quite a while. But as much as we got to this point, when we were virtual, the church, it was great, but it was still a vague concept. People couldn't connect. I knew we needed more. We needed a space to connect. Because as much as we were holding this together virtually, we were fraying. And we need this bond. One of the great things that church always had was the fellowship meals. That was as much a joy as the service itself. So we came close to a couple places, but they weren't right. One we'd have to wait, the other one was just too expensive. So we thought of Gary Bannon. We reached out to him. Gary Bannon's the building manager here, and he has always treated us great. So it seemed like a natural fit. And he mentioned this spot, and we came in, and it needed a bit. It looked closed in. I could not picture a service in this room, but I just knew by the dimensions, we could fit the people, we'll figure it out. So we did, and it became a team effort. There was a lot going on. I don't know if you know, when a lotus flower, it blooms. It blooms on top of a pond, but there's so much that goes on underneath to make that bloom happen. The roots reach down into the silt of the pond bottom or the lake bottom, and then it sends up these shoots, and those shoots gather nutrients, and as it gets near the surface, it gathers sunlight, and photosynthesis begins. And then when that happens, it sends up one more shoot, and that shoot becomes the bloom. We are the bloom. But everything that went on underneath the surface still amazes me. From walking in the door to discussing it to everybody taking the risk of making this happen. Tracy picking out the paints. Frank making the 5 principal posters. Ginny and Frank getting the seat covers. Oh, Lisa, this beautiful thing. I was in tears for days. And then when you brought it back, and that was just after she showed me, I kept saying, I'm so excited, I'm so excited. And then she brought it back and hung it, but I'm looking at it and going, I can't believe we have something like that. I'm just amazed. Tracy picking out the colors and the ear, and Deb and the ear, and well, if you know, but Tracy donated the TV.
Oh.
Other things just showed up. Lynn, you ran everything from the sidelines, making sure the office was running, and we got to this point. My case, every time I needed anything, just a back rub. Trust me, I've been carrying stress. So, but she's been there. She'd come home shopping. Oh, I picked this up to the church. Oh, what can I do? Every time I'd come to the church, she'd show up with something. We had all these people who helped us move. Every one of you, and Linda Kay and George. Oh my God, George. George, if you're watching, thank you. We were in here so much painting and moving stuff and removing stuff and repainting, and every time we thought we had something done, I missed a spot. And I just in the use of his van and everything. And Charlie, my God, moving us out of the other building, helping us move in. The organization, even when we thought we were done being organized, and we had, okay, we can just shut that back room and not think about it. I come in and Charlie, I organized that. So all this is a team effort. All this is the stuff that went on below the surface. And I've been carrying this. This is very heavy on my shoulders because I feel it has to succeed. I mean, I think about this. It wakes me up at night. And then Casey smacks me and I go back to sleep. And when I feel that, how do I relieve the weight? Well, people offered help. People volunteered. I had to go back to the roots. The roots of this are the people. And they helped carry that. And that's what happened below the surface to get us to this point. You know, I hope to be a spiritual center that rivals, Agape in Los Angeles. I want people to think of Unity of the Seacoast as the place on the East Coast. This is where it began in America. People think, oh, it began in Kansas City. It began in Lebanon, New Hampshire, when Phineas Quimby was born. And then he moved to Massachusetts and to Maine, but that's where, Mary Baker Eddy started studying him. And that's where Emma Curtis Tompkins started studying him and Mary Baker Eddy. And it spread from here. So you thought the footprint is here. So we are the birth of it. And I want to expand it so it's well represented. Hopefully, it's a vision that you guys buy into, and you guys buy into. Look us up on Sundays. No, it's worth watching. Sometimes it's not going to be. I'm going to mail it in one day or two. But I'm so humbled by this opportunity. You know, when I took this over, I was nervous, and I still get nervous. But I was asked to be as hands-on as possible. I hope up to this point I have been. I hope I've set an example of what I feel a minister should do. And I've done this with the help of many people. And in fact, I'll step aside, but little video that my first minister sent us. So, Casey,
Do that?
can you do that?
Where's the sound?
Reverend Diane Robinson, Union Hampton, Indiana.
Good morning. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for you that you all get to be back in service together today. We all appreciate the social media ways that we've been staying connected, but there's nothing like seeing somebody in person and seeing the familiar faces and getting those hugs that Unity is so well known for. So greetings, and I'm so happy for you. And I'm so happy to be part of your fringe, that we're all connected. You know, it was an interesting thing with Thomas. When I met him, he came to Florida because his brother was dying. And I was the minister of Unity Church in the Gardens in Jupiter, Florida, the church that his sister-in-law was part of. So I got to know Tom really well because his brother John was passing, and he stayed around and helped with the family afterwards. And after that happened, I said, Tom, you know, you really ought to have a church. I think you'd like it. No, I'm not a church. It's like, okay. Well, whenever you feel like you might want to do church, I think that you would find some incredible relief at Unity Church. And so he came for the first time on Christmas Eve. And Christmas Eve is not a regular Unity service. It's got a little bit of Unity to it, but not a lot. But that was enough. It was enough to hook him. And he started studying and taking every class he could take, and you could just see the fire in him. And so that's what we're about, the fire in us, pulling that fire forth that God has created each and every one of us with a divine plan, with a divine mission. And there's a fire that burns in us, and we need to express that fire in any way we can, however we can. I love the quote from John Wesley: do all you can with what you have in the place you are, in the time you are. Do all you can. So we're encouraging that do all you can, and your minister is a guy that does what he can do. And each of you are inspired ministers. Unity is a church where everybody who attends there is a minister. And we all minister to each other. We all do what we need to do to stay connected. So I'm really grateful for you this morning, that you're staying connected, that you are reconnecting into your beautiful Unity of Seacoast. Oh, that's the right word. And you are loved and you are appreciated, and you have a very, very fine, inspired, passionate minister. So greetings on coming back. I hope you enjoy your day and all the Sundays that follow, plus this time in between. Blessings to you. Namaste.
Namaste.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, she was awesome. It's funny that Bonnie mentioned it, but I had gone to this tiki bar on a Sunday night, and I walked up to order beers with a friend of mine, And this lady started chatting with me, waiting in line. I had no idea why she leaned over, but she was telling me her problems and stuff. And I ministered to her in that. And I went home and I thought about it. And I got to calling. This is what I need to do. The next morning, Diane called up and said, I was thinking about you last night, and I think we got calling. And, you know, as you can see, I'm still close to her this day. Besides Casey, my daughter, she was the most influential female in my life. So I want to thank her, even though she's probably not getting it unless she's watching online. Hi, Diane. So here we are. I kind of skipped a lot of this, which I kind of like. You know, I've been working hard at working more off the cuff, and this is kind of like my line of security blanket. But it's nice to have it. So at this moment, I just want to acknowledge everyone that came to make this happen. I'd like to take this into a meditation.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for what I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for what I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
I'd like everyone to take in a deep breath and exhale it. And develop your own comfortable pace. As we do this, bring your feet grounded to the floor. Notice the breath coming in and out. There's a simple connection in this, that we are to the world around us. Planting your feet is grounding. Controlling your breath is connection in the conscious to the subconscious mind. When we go inside into that quiet place, we recognize the Christ within us. And we recognize the ever expanding presence of God from within us to the world and back. We rest in this spot. And ponder your world, your calm place. In this place, we are loved. This is where I and the Father are one. This is the place Christ within us fuels and fills and grows. From here, we absorb the word and we take on the word. We, a place that we can retreat from there. This is our place. In this place, we recognize our thoughts and our surroundings. In our physical world, we feel when we see something beautiful, we feel it in the sun, in the baby, flower, puppy, each other. And I'd like each of us to honor this space by just saying to yourself or out loud, I am loved. I am connected. Therefore, I am loved. As you come back to me, start to open your eyes and relax your neck a little bit and just feel the stress work. And this time, I'd like to do a prayer for everyone, for others, but for ourselves. So if you have something you're thinking about, just hold them in your mind. For those at home, hold them in your mind. Write them in the comments. And if you don't feel comfortable writing a name, a heart emoji or something. And during the week, if you're thinking of someone and you have the ability to reach out to them, reach out and tell them they're loved. Nothing sends a prayer home than actual sending it home and saying, hey, I'm thinking of you. I love you. So Mangla, you're home watching. I'm thinking of you. There's many people on my list. So hold that person in thought, in heart, in prayer. I see them as whole, healthy, glowing, full of light, full of love. And for each of you, I see that. Whole, healthy, happy, and full of love. And for myself, I see that. Whole, happy, healthy, and full of love. And there's another prayer that you would like to get prayer box on. Each week we do prayers for others. And we haven't done this part since we closed. We have a prayer box that we keep out front. If you guys are thinking of anyone, or at home, if you can add to this too, by using my email address, tscheinler, SCHEINLER, @yahoo.com. send me who you're praying for. We will add it to the list. But we take this and we add the names to it. If you feel the names, if there's someone you want to add a name to it, just write it, put it in this box. We will pray over it for 30 days. And then we send it to you and you go and they pray over it for 30 days. So for those you're thinking of, those that are in here, we see the Christ within you. We hold you within us in wholeness, health, and happiness. We see you as you were born into perfection. Before life had changes, you were back at that perfect spot. You were a perfect spirit, perfect being in God. And so it is. Amen. Then the next prayer that we do is a prayer of tithings and affirmations. And Tracy, my friend, to blow the dust off this. So if you can place your hand over your heart and repeat the prayer of affirmation with me. It's up on the Bible. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So it is. Amen.
There is only one out of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one.
And for you at home, we're missing out on that. You want to be a part of that. You go to our website, the blue button that matches the bag. So, folks, I'm truly, truly humbled by this. I get to do something I've been waiting 2 years to do. It's the prayer of protection with the proper finish. There we go. For 2 years since I've been doing this, I've been saying you, because I want you to know that I think of you when I was in front of my computer. Together, we are us. So if everyone can repeat this. Oh, I'm so happy. The Prayer of Protection by James Dillett Freeman. I want to do a service on that prayer. He was a fascinating man. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are richly blessed. I always wait for Rachel to type that in. Now, I don't know how people feel, and I don't want to force anyone to be uncomfortable, but normally we would stand in a circle and sing, "This is the light of mine."
Oh, is that a peace song?
Let there be peace.
Oh, yeah, I think I put the wrong one in there. That's why it was not ringing a bell. So you can skip that slide, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go back.
Go there, that's good.
Is,
We can do them both if you
well,
want.
we'll do it. Okay, can we end in Tucson?
If you want.
Sure. So, but if anyone wants to join in the circle, feel free. If you don't, feel free. I always want to be COVID safe, that we have masks out front, individual tissues, we have individual hand sanitizer, and, we have individual stalls in the bathroom, so, but it's up to you guys. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, feel unsafe. So, you guys,
Which side are we gonna put on?
and that's
That's a little light.
It's the light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. It's the light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.